Hello, we're talking to Natascha Wunsch, who's here in Graz at the ASN Europe conference, and she comes to us from the ETH Zurich, where she works as a postdoctoral researcher. Natascha, you gave a presentation yesterday on the democratic backsliding in the EU enlargement region. Would you care to elaborate a little bit on your presentation?
Yes, so basically what I try to do in this paper is tackle a kind of double puzzle. On the one hand, in theoretical terms, we have this early literature in EU enlargement from the early 2000s that is very enthusiastic, very positive, optimistic about the role of enlargement as a tool for democracy promotion. But at the same time foresees that there may be some problems when it comes to the sustainability of democracy, because it's been largely incentive-driven by the prospect of EU accession, and so I contrast that with more recent trends of actually democratic backsliding in not only recent EU member states but also in the Western Balkans, also in Turkey, which I don't touch upon so much in my paper. So this is the kind of the theoretical angle, and in empirical terms, I tried to bring together these two literatures of democratic backsliding among EU member states, so this kind of post-accession rollback of reforms, but then also the democratic stagnation in the Western Balkans to see whether there are common threads, common processes that we can observe, or whether those are distinct phenomena.
Okay, do you have any particular expectations from your research?
What I try to do is address a set of, a range of theoretical families in combination. So I use a qualitative comparative analysis. I look into the role of socioeconomic development, so whether there are kind of growing grievances due to the economic crisis or a general downturn of economic growth. I'm also interested in the role of party system institutionalization, but also in more immediate electoral outcomes that, of course, influence who is in power and then how, to what extent this person or this leader is going to implement a process of what I term executive expansion. And then finally, the role of political participation, so the way citizens become involved in the political system, and political attitudes, the extent of trust that citizens have in democracy as an abstract governance system, but also in national institutions concretely.
Okay, and within this sort of research or research design, where does the EU come into the entire equation?
So I think clearly the leverage that the EU wields in the enlargement region, this concerns both member states and the Western Balkans, has declined. So there is somewhat of a disillusionment, I think, in the Western Balkans with the lack of progress in reforms, and so we have this general disenchantment with EU accession as a driver of reform. I think that the EU has actually even fewer tools to address democratic backsliding in among member states, but also that the way conditionality is currently used in accession countries is also unlikely to reproduce the success we've seen in Central and Eastern European countries. So overall, what I try to see in this project is whether perhaps this early enthusiasm with EU enlargement as a tool for democracy promotion was perhaps due to a very specific set of circumstances that we had in the early 2000s that we no longer have today, and therefore EU leverage is much less effective in driving democratization.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking the time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay here in Graz, and we hope to welcome you soon.
Thank you.